WCBI News at 6 starts now.
New at 6 tonight. Good evening, everyone. Alabama now has 106 cases of the coronavirus, including one in Lamar County. The Alabama Department of Public Health published the new numbers late this afternoon. There is only one case being reported in Lamar County at this time. Tuscaloosa County is reporting 4. Jefferson County, which is where Birmingham is located, has the most in the state with 50 positive tests. In Mississippi, the total now stands at 80, with new cases being reported in Monroe, Lee, Lafayette, and Webster counties. Tupelo's mayor has issued an executive order that impacts many businesses such as restaurants, along with recreational entertainment facilities. WCBI's Allie Martin has more.
For this work session, every council member took part via phone, except for Councilwoman Nettie Davis, who was there in person.
All night restaurants like Waffle House and IHOP.
Council members were reviewing the latest executive order by Mayor Jason Shelton, aimed at stemming the spread of the coronavirus. It requires restaurants in the city to only offer food services by delivery, curbside pickup, drive-through, or carry-out starting Monday. Also, until Monday, all restaurants are asked to limit in-house dining to 50% of occupancy limits, or 20 people at a time, whichever is less. And recreational entertainment businesses such as skating rinks, bowling alleys, and arcades are ordered to close. Other parts of that executive order will be amended.
On the restaurants closing at 9 p.m., we're going to clarify that we mean establishments that serve alcohol must close at 9 p.m. Other restaurants will be allowed to continue at normal hours by to-go or carry-out only. We're going to go day by day with some of the other provisions, review them, each day to make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Mayor Shelton says all leaders in all levels of government are sailing in uncharted waters when it comes to what actions to take to limit exposure and stop the spread of the coronavirus. Those actions will impact businesses and the economy, and local leaders are doing what they can to keep the public safe and help businesses at the same time.
The thing with this is, unlike natural disasters where there's a beginning and an end to them, we don't know where the end is. So we are still trying to figure out when the virus will peak and when it will begin to subside. Nobody knows the answer to that, not even the medical community, and some of that is frustrating, but at the same time you have to understand this is an unprecedented time.
The mayor plans to issue a new executive order Monday to address daycare facilities if no state or federal guidelines are issued. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The mayor also banned hotels from serving breakfast buffets. Also, many city employees are now being allowed to work from home. In other news, Starkville city leaders also putting new limitations on restaurants and social gatherings. In a special call meeting, aldermen passed an ordinance limiting restaurants to takeout service only and restricting the number of people who can gather at one place to 10. This includes places such as churches, hair salons, and gyms. If someone is caught violating the ordinance, Mayor Lynn Sproul says they'll be fined.
As it stands right now, we're not shutting offices. We're not shutting down businesses. We're saying consider the CDC rule and use that as your guideline for those social type gathering locations.
Sproul says places such as grocery stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and hospitals are excluded from the ordinance. The new changes take effect immediately. 6 area funeral homes develop plans to help loved ones say goodbye during the spread of COVID-19. Lance County Coroner Greg Merchant says the end-of-life service providers agreed to 3 rules. The first is to limit private visitations to family members only and allowing up to 25 people to be present. Arrangement conferences will be limited to 5 people. Graveside, chapel, or place of the customer's choosing will be available to 25 people as long as social distancing can be maintained. For a list of the funeral homes, go to our website, WCBI.com. The Mississippi State Department of Health is making changes to how you receive medical care during the outbreak. Doctors and hospitals must defer elective and surgical diagnostic procedures. Patients must reschedule. Providers and patients should reschedule non-urgent medical appointments. Dentists must delay non-emergency or routine procedures. The Department of Health says this will protect patients and healthcare professionals. Health leaders say this also preserves medical equipment during this ongoing shortage. Baptist Golden Triangle is making some big changes for its patients and visitors. Only one person can be with a patient in the emergency room. No visitors will be allowed in the transitional care or behavioral health care units. Patients that are in isolation will not be allowed to have visitors. The Columbus facility believes the next 14 days are critical in the COVID-19 outbreak. Hospital administrators say this policy is subject to change.
We just had another brief downpour here in the Friendly City. You see the roads are wet there in downtown Columbus on the Alpha Insurance camera network. I'll switch back over to the radar, and you can see here's that shower now coming through the eastern portion of Lowndes County. Coles right there along Highway 82. That's going into Pickens County now. But really, a lot of us are seeing some light to moderate rainfall right now. Luckily, though, no lightning with this and no strong storms to worry about. This is just going to be some nuisance rain for the rest of the night, and I think it dies out as we get past midnight or so. Tomorrow morning, for sure, we are going to be dry. That's going to leave us with a mix of sun and clouds through the day on Saturday. So we're getting a chance to get outside and enjoy some nice weather. You're going to want to take it up on that opportunity because we're going to have more rain returning to the forecast for Sunday and through next week. I've got a full look at that 7-day coming up in just a little bit. Joey.
Starting Monday, all classes at Mississippi State will be taught online. Students and faculty have been preparing for the big change. Our Quentin Smith speaks with instructors about the new method of teaching. He joins us live in the studio with the story. Quentin?
Yeah, Joey, this is a big move that no one saw coming when the semester first started. But university leaders say this is the best option as they deal with this coronavirus outbreak. Now, even though the teaching method is changing, instructors say students will still learn everything they need to be successful in their respective courses. Lights, camera, action.
Well, welcome back to class. Obviously, a lot of you have not showed up today.
This is one of the many ways professors at Mississippi State will now conduct their lectures. They'll be recorded and then posted online. Chris Mission is a broadcast instructor at MSU and is used to having face-to-face interactions with his students, kind of like this. He admits having to switch online presents a unique situation for the broadcasting department.
Working in broadcasting, I know how important it is for us to do hands-on projects with the students and give them that instruction. And so for the students to lose out on that is very challenging for us.
But it's a challenge they're taking head on.
There's been a lot of researching on my end for trying to come up with projects that the students can do at home now. We had a lot of group projects coming up for the rest of the semester, and so now it's finding ways to turn those into individual projects that are still challenging for the students and give them the tools that they need to move on to the next portion of their degree.
Mission says he's taking advantage of all of the resources on campus, and he's even having to get a little creative. One innovative tool he's having students use for their projects is their cell phones.
Essentially, they could do all of their projects from their mobile phone because you can edit on your phone and you can then export out to Google Drive from your phone or Microsoft OneDrive, and then you can upload your project that way.
While this transition is new to some departments, others are accustomed to operating this way. The Center for Distance Education has over 50 programs online. Due to their expertise, they've held 24 training sessions this week to ensure students and faculty have all of the tools they need to be successful.
Mississippi State has done a phenomenal job in thinking about so many aspects of what's needed. Do all of our students have internet access that they're going to need, or the technologies that they're going to need? Are they going to have the textbooks? And so everybody is pulled together to make sure that all of our students have the access and the technologies that they need.
With things now being switched online, Mitchell Memorial Library will still be available to students, faculty, and staff. But I do want to point out, students are not allowed to work in groups. The library will be open from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. Joey?
The coronavirus is affecting the way real estate agents conduct business. For the first time, open houses are limited to help people maintain social distancing recommended by the CDC. Many realtors are increasing their use of technology, particularly social media, to show and market homes and connect with clients. When it's necessary for people to physically come to a house, one real estate broker has some suggestions.
Make sure that you do have hand sanitizer available, maybe some wipes or whatever, and open some doors. Open any doors that you think that someone else might want to look inside there. This is not going to be something that we believe that's going to last a long time. I believe that Tupelo and Northeast Mississippi are going to be insulated from a lot of the stuff that's going to go on in Dallas and Houston and Atlanta and some of the larger areas. But I believe that we're going to have a very solid market.
Realtors are also encouraged by an upswing in new home construction across North Mississippi. Even though we're dealing with the uncertainty of the coronavirus, there is some good coming out of it. We take a look at the brighter side when we come back.
You're watching WCBI's News at 6 with Joey Barnes.
Welcome back, everyone. During this national crisis, many acts of kindness are happening across the area. Our Scott Martin joins us live in the studio with a look at the positive side of news. What's happening, Scott?
Yeah, that's right, Joey. We're really seeing some of that Southern hospitality in action throughout this outbreak, from neighbor helping neighbor to just a simple smile from the window. These are small gestures that are making us all smile. We just want to make sure that we get to share some of those with you. Churches, they're joining in too. No doubt those in the medical field, they're working tirelessly, making sure that we all stay healthy. Members of Mount Vernon Church here in Columbus, they prepared about 20 buckets full of snacks and delivered them to the hospital. Take a look at some of those Little Debbie Swiss cake rolls, I think that's in there. Now on its Facebook page, the church says that it just wants to show some love to our medical professionals. The church is also offering free Wi-Fi in its fellowship center Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the kiddos. And Reed's Gumtree Bookstore isn't letting the virus keep them from story time. They're just having to do it a little differently. Every Friday is story time there at the bookstore. Jack Reed Jr., he reads a couple of books to a group of kids each Friday. Now, today, he did it through Facebook Live. Story time will be held online until the store is open back up to the public. And right now the plan is to get it back open in April. But they say they also plan on doing a Facebook Live version to hopefully get more people involved. Joey, back to you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Always good to see some positive news out there. Give you a little smile on this Friday.
Yeah.
Because the weather ain't doing it.
It's definitely not doing it. But I'll tell you what, tomorrow's weather might do it for you.
Okay.
We do have this cold front that's draped across our area right now. That's going to our south, but it's not going to be long before it comes back and brings us more chances for rain. I'll detail all of that coming up in the 7-day forecast right after this. Stay with us.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
Lots of rain out there on this Friday evening. Our rainfall estimates from the radar anywhere from 1/4 of an inch up to an inch in some spots. Tupelo officially recording about 3/4 of an inch so far, and there's even more rain on the way overnight tonight. Fortunately, though, it's not going to be as heavy as we saw earlier today, but if you're planning on being outside at all this evening, you're definitely going to want to keep the rain jacket handy. We've still got some showers on the Alpha Insurance camera network right now in Tupelo. You see the low-hanging clouds, the wet roads down there in downtown right there at Fair Park. Just about everybody still getting in on a good amount of rainfall right now. Here's the radar, and generally light to moderate rainfall across much of the area, but there are some pockets of heavier rain in some spots. We've got a heavier shower now in northern Winston County coming into the Golden Triangle. Also a couple of heavier downpours getting right in there into Pickens County, but as I said, generally most of us are just seeing some light rain out there right now. That's definitely the story up in northern Mississippi. Just a few more light showers getting into Lee County along I-22 right now. Now that cold front has started to pass through the area, most of the heavy stuff is over. It's just going to leave us with some light to moderate rainfall for the next hour or so. I think rainfall amounts generally dwindle down as we get past sunset, especially after midnight. I think most of the rain will be out of here. Temperatures falling down into the 50s overnight. Tomorrow morning, waking up hopefully to a few peaks of sunshine. Should be a pretty nice day. For sure, a pretty nice start to the day. Temperatures out there for tomorrow, highs 65 in New Hope, 66 in Brooksville. Mix of sun and clouds basically all across the area. Mostly sunny though, so definitely want to get outside and enjoy that weather. Up to the north, 64 in Shannon, 63 in Holka. Generally, temperatures feeling very comfortable as well. And we'll check in with our friends over in West Alabama as well. Same story, a mix of sun and clouds. Mostly dry, aside from maybe a couple of sprinkles in the morning, but I think most of us will see the last bit of our rainfall overnight tonight. That means tomorrow, great day to get outside and enjoy the weather, absolutely picture perfect. Sunday is not going to be the day because we are going to have some more rain showers moving in. As a matter of fact, that cold front that I was telling you about that moved off to our south, it's going to come back up as a warm front and really stay stationary. And anytime you see a warm front or a stationary front, rain showers like to develop right on that front. So anytime that stationary front is hanging around here, we're going to be stuck in the pattern of some off and on rain showers, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Surefire bet for rain on Sunday. Definitely a day you're going to want to stay inside. Through the week, not a constant rainfall, but some off and on showers. Temperatures getting back up to the upper 80, or the mid 80s, I should say, by Thursday.
Tyson Carter may have taken his last jump shot in Starkville, but the Carter name will live on forever in Bulldogs basketball. We sit down with the Carter family next in sports.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Mississippi State guard Tyson Carter learned the love of the game straight from another basketball Bulldog, his very own dad. Raised by former All-SEC player Greg Carter, not only did Carter learn to love the game, he learned to live for it. WCBI Sports' Chris Bolton sat down with the father-son duo to talk about that special basketball bond.
Growing up, did you always see yourself going to Mississippi State? Was this the goal to follow in his footsteps and go to Mississippi State as well?
It definitely was a dream of mine to play at Mississippi State, but you know, you get in high school, you know, you start getting treated by other schools, you know, get to looking at you, so you kind of just weigh your options a little bit. And when it just came down to it, I knew that Mississippi State was where I should go. That's where I always dreamed of playing.
When he was young, he wanted to be a ball boy at Mississippi State. So once he got old enough, you know, we let him be a ball boy. And when the teams would leave the floor after pregame warm-ups, they would leave the floor, he would always go out and shoot. And then, you know, I remember one game, he made 4 or 5 3-pointers in a row, and he got the crowd into it. You know, he had the whole crowd cheering for him every time he made one. You know, and him playing at Mississippi State brought back memories like that. But, you know, I don't really consider him, you know, following in my footsteps. You know, once he got there, you know, he kind of blazed his own path through Mississippi State. You know, he set his own footsteps.
Y'all are the first father-son duo in the SEC to have 1,000 career points each. Just tell me, you know, what does that mean to you for y'all to make that accomplishment?
When he signed with Mississippi State, I kind of figured he would pass my point total. And I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I really didn't know how close he was until this season started. You know, so I was, you know, eagerly anticipating it, you know, every game leading right up to it. You know, I think it put a little pressure on him really wanting it so bad, you know, once he got close, that he struggled a little bit. But once he got past it, you know, he kind of, you know, took back off. But I was, you know, proud that he eclipsed me. You know, I really didn't think that we were the only father and son duo to do it. But when you think about it and put it in that perspective, you know, it's a really big thing.
Just playing for him at high school, you know, I always wanted to make him proud and stuff like that. So just with some things that I accomplished in college, you know, it means a lot that I could be able to do that.
Looking back from your journey, you know, growing up, playing ball, was he the person that instilled that love of basketball into you?
Yeah, I think so, because just growing up, you know, going to watch his teams practice and stuff like that, you know, long hours in the gym, I knew I always wanted to be there. You know, that was my favorite place to go in the whole world. I always wanted to go to the gym. I always wanted to have my ball in my hand.
When he was 3 years old, you know, I took a head coaching job at Brandon High School. And, you know, we put him in a daycare for teachers. And, you know, the daycare ended when school ended. But the two people who ran the daycare, they would bring him to the gym after all the other kids had left. They would bring him to the gym, drop him off. He'd come in the gym. You know, I had a little small basketball. He's 3 years old. So I had a little small basketball that I kept in my office. You know, I'd get that ball out for him, and he would go on the side goal, and he would shoot. He could barely get it up to the rim, but he would shoot, he'd dribble, he'd run up and down the court. He'd get tired, he'd go up in the bleachers. I'd look up in the bleachers, he'd be asleep. You know, he'd wake up, he'd come back down on the court, you know, he'd go back to shooting and playing. So he's really been in the gym since he was 3 years old.
If you two face off in y'all's prime, which one of y'all's winning that game?
I think I'll win.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that game will ever end, to be honest with you.
Have you guys played against each other recently, lately?
No, not recently. We used to play against each other a lot when I was growing up. I never won though, but we kind of stopped when I got a little older.
Yeah.
I think we stopped playing each other probably, early senior year, late junior year?
I think it was before that, probably my freshman year.
It wasn't that late.
I think it was.
It wasn't that early.
My freshman year. My freshman year in high school, probably.
Have you been trying to, you want to get your lick back, you want to play him again and just show him what you can do now?
I don't think he want to play me no.
All right, so cast your votes. Who would win matching up in their primes? Would it be Greg Carter or Tyson Carter? Let me know on Twitter. That would be so much fun. Some great stuff from Chris Bolton there. Tyson Carter ending his career as a Mississippi State Bulldog. That's it for sports. We'll be right back after the break. Stay with us.
Tomorrow, please get outside, take a walk, do something. It's going to be absolutely perfect. Rain for Sunday, so that's not going to be the day you want to be outside. More of a widespread rainfall on Sunday, kind of like what we're seeing today. After that, off and on showers for the week. Not a complete washout. I'm thinking Wednesday and Thursday might actually be pretty nice, but there will be some showers in there. Notice also the temperatures ramping up. 79 for us on Wednesday, up into the low and mid 80s on Thursday before yet another cold front passes. So lots of rain, but it is spring. You know, we're used to it by now.
Exactly, and get out garden or something on Saturday.
For sure, do it.
All right, thanks for joining us, everyone.